Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of Scotch and Smoke Rings, episode 371. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today. I am your friendly neighborhood Oxhorn, here as always with my suspenders set to maximum stun. I've got a great show for you today. We're going to be going through a lot of stuff. It has been over 1 week since Nuka World launched. It launched on Monday, not this last Monday, but the Monday before last. So, what does Nuka World look like a week on? How do we think it is as a DLC? These are the conversations that we will be having today. Be sure to put your questions and comments in the comment section, and we will go through everything. The Movie Making Bros says, hey, how are you, Oxhorn, on this classy day? Doing very well, Movie Making Bros. Pleasure to have you on the show again. Nuka Fishy is here. Greetings, Ox. Greetings, Nuka Fishy. Cigar Ox says, just got back from work. Well, you made it just in time, Cigar Ox. We're always glad to have you on the program. We've got Ojerated Gamer, Lee TV, Vault Dweller, Savory Express. Great to see everybody on the program today. Lee TV says, hey, I finally made it to a live episode of Scotch and Smoke Rings. Hey, thank you for subscribing. I missed your name. It fell off my screen before I could get to it, but thank you so much for subscribing. Well, we've got a lot to cover today, but first things first. We have this wonderful doodad that we have to set on fire. Spencer Curtis says, what is your Twitch? It is Scotch and Smoke Rings. All one word. Scotch and Smoke Rings. Twitch.tv/Scotch and Smoke Rings. We're broadcasting live today on both YouTube and Twitch. Morbid Sally subscribed for 15 months in a row. Thank you very much, Morbid Sally. I do appreciate it. Alright, today we are smoking a Henry Clay stock cut cigar, and I introduced these, I think, 2 weeks ago now, and this is my last one. I'm sad to see it go. It was a very delicious cigar. But one must do what we must do and set it on fire. Here we go. Actually, do I have any cedar? Usually I have a cedar spill sitting around, but let me check my drawer. Yeah. Looks like we're going to have to use a lighter. Yes, I realize that using a lighter is not the best way to light a cigar, but it's never really bothered me. It's a little tough draw right here. A bit of a knot where the tobacco was bound a bit too much. Hang tight. Doesn't take too long to light a cigar. Bear with me. Ranger TG says, Oxhorn, do you think Nuka World was a disappointment or a good DLC? I think it was both. At the end of the day, here's my assessment. At the end of the day, it's a good DLC. It contributes and enriches the Fallout 4 universe. So I'm glad they made it. I'm glad they made it the way they made it, and I don't have any buyer's remorse. After all, with the season pass, I only paid $5 for it, so not that big of a deal. But I also think that it's a little bit of a disappointment because, as with any game, there are things that they could have done better. The good ending just felt like it was slapped together, you know? I'm glad they have a good ending. But I really would have enjoyed it if they put a little bit more energy into the good ending. Like some people were saying in the comments, well, maybe it would have been great if you could have banded together with Preston Garvey for the good ending and done a big Minutemen raid of the different factions instead of just, oh, kill all the bosses? Okay, you won. Yeah, I mean, I agree. It could have been thought out a little bit more. It could have been a bit more creative. Like each of the different faction endings in Fallout 4, Railroad, Institute, Brotherhood of Steel, and Minutemen, they're all unique and interesting in their own ways. Especially the Minuteman ending. You basically have two endings if you choose the Minuteman ending. You not only have to defeat an onslaught of Brotherhood of Steel vertibirds at the castle, which is epic, but you also have to take down the Institute. So there's a lot of thought and effort that goes into it. But the good ending for Nuka World is just, oh, kill 3 guys. 4. Kill 4 guys. Okay. Nuka Fishy says, I would say Nuka World has sort of fallen flat, mainly because I've already cleared out all the areas. There's no longer spawning enemies within them. The weapons are fun still, but it's back to really the content I had before the DLC. Although the Eternus Gatling Laser is absolutely amazing because of the mechanics of unlimited ammo legendary mod. Wheat says Nuka World should have been in the game since the beginning, so you can join with the Raiders and kill the Minutemen and the Brotherhood of Steel. That's actually something that I'm interested in knowing. If you do the Raider ending and become a Raider before you beat the actual game, is there a unique Raider ending? Like, do you go to the Raider bosses or to Porter Gage and they send you to kill the Institute or the Brotherhood of Steel, or can you kill the Minutemen? I don't know. That's really interesting. Are they a legitimate faction with end game consequences, or are they just another faction like Children of Adam? I don't know. Cigar says, speaking of setting things on fire, and that Oxhorn can't go to the Facebook side of Scotch and Smoke Rings, I direct you to the pic I shot back on Sunday, which astounded everybody, including Oxhorn himself. Does that mean I've already seen it? Alright, if I've already seen it, then I won't go to Facebook. But you're all welcome to go to Facebook. There we go. I get to talking too much, and then my cigar goes out. D. Heiler says, are you disappointed that they didn't add more new unique power armor models, like, for example, the Overboss? No, I'm not terribly disappointed about that. The Overboss power armor was less than impressive. I have it sitting side by side with the Raider 2 power armor in my player home. And really the difference between the two is there's this big sheet of, chicken wire on the front. That's the difference. So it's not terribly exciting. I do like the new paint jobs. The new Quantum paint job is great. The new T51 paint job is great. So I don't feel that they kind of skimped us in terms of power armor. They had a good amount of power armor. The Mads Evadger says, what lovely cigar are you smoking tonight? So we are smoking the Henry Clay Stock Cut cigar. One of my favorite bands on a cigar. This is the Henry Clay. And as you can see, it's got a nice box pressed appearance on it today. Entity File says, what do you think about the PS4 mods being delayed? Gabriel echoes that and says, what's your opinion on the PS4 mods delay? Well, I empathize with Bethesda on one hand, and yet I don't on the other. Because the reason the mods are delayed is because of Sony. If Bethesda had their way, PS4 players would have mods. But Sony is giving them a hard time, unlike the way that Xbox did. I mean, yes, mods are limited on the Xbox for the PlayStation 4, but at least you have mods. Yes, you have to choose your mods carefully because you're going to quickly run out of room, but you still have mods. With the PS4, Sony is just not putting... They don't care. They just don't care. The Fallout 4 community on the PS4 doesn't matter to them. And so they're just not helping Bethesda get this thing done. And that should say something to a PS4 player. It's not Bethesda's fault that you don't have mods on the PS4. It's Sony's fault that you don't have mods on a PS4. It's because Sony doesn't care enough about you as a player to give you mods for the PS4. It just requires too much work to them. And they're doing a calculation. They're like, well, Fallout 4 has already been released. We're not going to be making any more money by allowing mods on the PS4, so why should we put our time and energy into this? That is the great trap that you fall into when you play on consoles. Because suddenly, you only get the upgrades that are profitable for the company that's making them, not the upgrades that you want. With a PC, you can go and get any upgrades to your hardware system that you want if you want it and if you have the money for it. But with consoles, you only get the software upgrades or any other upgrades that you want for your game if it's profitable for the company. Magwire Casper Sky says, I just found this channel about 2 days ago, and I'm already a huge fan of it. Well, thank you, Magwire. Sorry. I mispronounce things all the time. And you guys hold me to the flames, too. When I mispronounce words in my videos, like every single comment, I think the number one comment I get is that people don't like the way I say white. They're like, Oxorn, why do you put an H at the beginning of white? And I don't put an H at the beginning of white. Listen, white. There's no H there. It goes, it's a WH. White. Right? I don't know. I mispronounce things all the time. So, sorry about that. Anyway, I'm glad to have you on the program. Yeah, I've been producing a lot of Nuka World content. So we've got a lot of new viewers today who have just recently subscribed thanks to my Nuka World content. So, welcome, all of you new viewers. The view towards the end says, hi Oxron, I love your stuff and enjoy these chats every week. I was wondering if the mascot voice that is in the park is available if you build the mascot yourself. And the answer is no. What he's referring to is the Nira robot that walks around Nuka World. You can get the mod that allows you to build the Nira robot Nuka bottle body. But sadly, you don't have access to Nira's personality. By the way, many viewers of my most recent video on all of the different robots in Fallout 4 are saying that you don't actually have to kill all the robots to get the mods. All you have to do is restore power to the galactic zone by getting just the right amount of star cores, and then that gives you access to everything. The entire menu is unlocked. I haven't tested that, but hey, if that's true, then great. But one more thing, I actually killed Nira in my game to get the mod, and then the next time I fast traveled into the Nuka town, she was alive again. So, I don't know. If you kill her to get her mod, it's not permanent. She's not going to be dead forever. Joe V0411 says, if you did Nuka World before saving Preston, would you be able to have Raiders and Preston? That's actually a question I am seeking to answer. I don't know. Because a lot of people are saying, well, I really want all of the perks that come with all of the Raider gangs, but if you get the perks, then you permanently alienate Preston Garvey. And I know that I don't want to do that in my gameplay. Some of you might not care. But even if I were to get all of my settlements back, I don't want to alienate Preston Garvey. He's my right-hand man when it comes to running the Minutemen, right? You no longer get him as a companion. So I want to experiment with that. I want to... On my Brotherhood of Steel alt, he has beat the game, but he has never met the Minutemen. I completely skipped... what's that town? Concord. I completely skipped Concord on that character. So, what I plan to do with him in the next few days is go through the Nuka World DLC with him, side with the Raiders so that I can see the Raider ending, and then go back to Preston and see if he treats me decently. John F. Remco says, when will you be done with the new Red Rocket? I'm working on it right now. In fact, I just recorded a Let's Build at the Nuka World Red Rocket that I'm going to be publishing not tomorrow, but Saturday. It's about 30-40 minutes of me just walking around building, so you can kind of join me during that process. But aside from that video, I'm actually right in the middle of building it. I've got all of the major structures done. I've been working on my defense. I'm using a few cool new mods that are Nuka World only, that I can't wait to share those with you. Settlement builders, you're going to really enjoy these new mods, so I can't wait to share them. Eternal887 says, so what's the classy drink for the day? Diet Coke! Oh wait! I forgot to pour my scotch. This can't be Scotch and Smoke Rings without scotch. Thanks for keeping me honest. I almost forgot. Today we are drinking some 10-year-old Glencullen Middle Shelf Scotch whiskey. Gamin' with Game said, I forgot if you ever did a Vault Settlement tour. I did. I did an entire video on my Vault 88 settlement build, and it's doing really well. It's getting close to breaking 70,000 views, something like that. So it's on my channel. I published it about 3 weeks ago. No, 4 weeks ago. Was it a month ago? Maybe it was 3 weeks ago. Delicious! CJ Trader 2001 says, do you think we'll get another Fallout game before Fallout 5? Sort of like how we got New Vegas after Fallout 3? I sure hope so. Because that would ensure the longevity of my channel if they came out with a new Fallout, so I certainly hope so. But that said, New Vegas was great. I played New Vegas for the first time early this year, before I started making Fallout videos. And I really enjoyed it. It really sort of reintroduced me to the world of Fallout. I've played Fallout 3 back in like 2008, or 2008, 2009, when it was first released way back then, and I enjoyed it so much. It was such a great game. But then I never played New Vegas when it came out. JJ says, do you plan on doing a Red Rocket Nuka World build? Indeed I do. The Nuka World Red Rocket is a really fun settlement to build because it's huge. And the land is mostly flat. The problem with the Red Rocket truck stop back next to Sanctuary is that the building area, like a third of it is on this road that kind of goes down a steep hill and curves to the left, so you can't really build anything practical there. And then the rest of it is on this hill that goes way up high, and it's also kind of tricky to build stuff there. So really, for that settlement, I just built on top of the truck stop and then around the sides a little bit. With this one, I'm actually getting the opportunity to build in the rest of the land around the rocket, the Red Rocket truck stop, because the land is so much bigger. Zachary says, "Hey, Oxron, been a fan of your since your World of Warcraft days. Keep it up. Thanks very much. So glad that you're here." DJ Autumn says, "Hey, Ox, hope you're doing well. It's almost my birthday. Woo!" Well, happy birthday in advance. The Moose King Divine says, "Dude, mind telling us what you actually think about the Brotherhood? Also, thanks to you, I need a smoke. I'm sorry, I certainly don't want to encourage smoking." Yes, of course I can tell you my views on the Brotherhood of Steel. I do plan to do an entire video on this, but you guys are watching my live show, so you get a little bit of a sneak peek. The title of the video I'm going to produce is Why the Brotherhood of Steel is Evil. Evil! I know, strong language. Well, here's my reasoning. And this actually bums me out, because in previous games I really liked the Brotherhood of Steel. In Fallout 3, I was all about the Brotherhood of Steel. In Fallout New Vegas, I didn't really do a lot with the Brotherhood of Steel. Actually, New Vegas didn't have them a lot. There was that one underground bunker where you find them, and I recall not really being too keen on them in New Vegas. But in Fallout 4... even though I started the game wanting to side with them, I ended up not siding with them because... Hey, Ranger TG nails it. He says the Brotherhood is not really evil, but the leaders are. Yes, that's the key point right there. Maxon is evil, but he's leading this direct segment, this offshoot of the Brotherhood of Steel. So for those who don't know, the lore behind this is that the Brotherhood of... So Maxon kind of takes over this little gang of Brotherhood of Steel outfit. He takes over this outfit, kind of radicalizes them towards this: we hate synths, we hate super mutants, we hate ghouls, we hate technology, we hate non-humans. He radicalizes them towards this very, radicalized point of view, and then invades the Commonwealth with one goal in mind: to kill synths. He hears that synths are in Boston, so he brings the Brotherhood of Steel over to eradicate them, to purge them, to make humanity purer. Does it sound like a certain furor? So, the Brotherhood of Steel soldiers, under his command, are just normal human beings like the rest of us, right? You know, they wake up, they go to bed, they eat, they use the bathroom, they bathe, they're just trying to make a living, and they're working for the Brotherhood of Steel. The majority of them are just regular soldiers. So yes, it would be a bit of a stretch to say these are individually evil people. But there's a problem, because even if you were to take 100 good people and bring them together in one group, that group can still be an evil group, even though it's comprised of good people. Because when you get too many people into one place, people abdicate personal responsibility. This is why businesses and corporations tend to become more evil as they get larger. Each individual unit in that business, each cog of the machine, starts to think, oh, well, it's somebody else's problem. Or that's somebody else's responsibility. They abdicate personal responsibility. And that's the way it is in the Brotherhood of Steel. You have all of these soldiers, and they're just going, well, Maxon hates synths, so we'll hate synths too. Well, Maxon wants us to go kill these super mutants, so okay, we'll do it. They may be good people, but they're making evil decisions. But here's why I truly think the Brotherhood of Steel is not only evil, but weak. And this is often one of the arguments that comes up on my YouTube comments when I say things like, I think the Brotherhood of Steel is bad. Some people will say, but they're the best hope for the Commonwealth. Or they've got this great technology. They're the best hope for the Commonwealth. And I never understood that reasoning, because they're really not. They don't care about the Commonwealth at all. In fact, they see the Commonwealth as in the same way that raiders see the Commonwealth as a source of food and supplies. When you do the raider quests, the guy who sends you to go raid settlements even flat out says, we're going to make sure to choose settlements that are surrounded by other prosperous settlements so that we can raid those settlements and be constantly supplied with food and resources. They don't actually make anything themselves. They're not helping the Commonwealth in any way. They're parasites on the Commonwealth that are consuming the resources of other successful settlements. And it's similar to the Brotherhood of Steel. The Brotherhood of Steel isn't offering any protection to settlers in the Commonwealth or to wastelanders. In fact, the Quartermaster actually sends you on Radiant quests to raid settlements in the Commonwealth of resources, to coerce them to give you resources to give to the Brotherhood of Steel. If you do that, you lose the settlement, by the way. That settlement is no longer allied with the Minutemen. So the Brotherhood of Steel doesn't have the Commonwealth in mind at all. So then there's the whole idea, well, if Maxon is the real enemy here, then all we need to do is take out Maxon, and then as the sole survivor, you become the leader of the Brotherhood of Steel, and you can make it in your own image, right? And that would be right if you actually could, but you can't. I recall reading that in earlier versions of the game, they had actually planned to make Maxon disposable, where he could be disposed with, and you could take over the Brotherhood of Steel. But they scrapped that. Even if you choose the best Brotherhood of Steel ending, you're still a servant of Maxon. So no matter what you do, if you side with the Brotherhood of Steel, you're waging genocide against synths, super mutants, and ghouls. That includes super mutants like Virgil, who are not bad, and it includes ghouls like Hancock and the other citizens of Goodneighbor, who are not bad. They're just human beings. That's why the Brotherhood of Steel is evil. Robin2258 raises a good point. It says, most of the evil in the 20th century was committed by bureaucrats. That's true. Some of the greatest crimes in human history have been done by pencil pushers sitting behind a desk. Greg Hartung says, so this Brotherhood of Steel is kind of like the Horde? The followers do good deeds, but the leaders' agendas are questionable at best? Kind of. The Brotherhood of Steel, I wouldn't say that their followers do good deeds. They're a military organization. They eat, sleep, live, and breathe, being part of that band of brothers. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually an admirable quality, which is why I'm fairly sympathetic towards the soldiers of the Brotherhood of Steel. I like that society. I really do. The problem is when that society is used as a weapon against innocent parties. And that's the problem with the Brotherhood of Steel in the Fallout 4 lore. Because of the leadership of Maxon, if you're joining the Brotherhood of Steel, you're waging genocide against entire groups of people just because they're not human. And I mentioned briefly earlier that this is a weakness of the Brotherhood of Steel, and I'll explain that. Spoilers, by the way, if you haven't finished the primary storyline for Fallout 4, this will give you spoilers. So spoiler alert, spoiler alert. When Maxon discovers that Dance is a synth, what is his reaction? Is it to contemplate his own choices? Is it to reevaluate his stance on synths? Oh, maybe synths are not all that bad. Maybe synths are not spies, but actual individual creatures with their own thoughts. Maybe I should soften my stance. No, his idea is to kill Dance, right? And here you have Paladin Dance, who didn't know that he was a synth, who lives and breathes the Brotherhood of Steel, who's the most loyal member of the Brotherhood of Steel that you could ever possibly want. And Maxon wants to kill him just because he's a synth. That is why this sort of worldview is weakness. He's willing to cut off his own arm in pursuit of this idealistic vision of purity, rather than to change his vision to make the Brotherhood of Steel stronger. It is inarguably true that if you kept Dance alive, the Brotherhood of Steel would have been stronger. The Brotherhood of Steel would be a stronger organization if men like Dance are alive to lead their little cadres, right? But when you go about excising the tumors within your organization just because they're synths, you're making yourself weaker and weaker and weaker. And that is why radical ideologies like that actually make armies and organizations weaker than organizations who just embrace personal liberty and freedom like the Minutemen. Dragon XL says, what did I come in on? I'm so confused right now and debating to withdraw the Mandalorian forces and canceling the invasion. Dragon XL, what? Different game, man. Different game. D Hunt is in the chat tonight. Hey there, D Hunt. Pleasure to have you on the program. Betsy Fedger says, oh, I sided with the Stormcloaks. Oh, okay. Thanks, buddy. Come on. Burn. Ranger TG says, the Brotherhood of Steel are evil, and yet they are the only ones that could fight the Institute, and with the chance of winning, Railroad could only hide Minutemen and dies quickly. I mean, that's just not true. I mean, if you play the game, you have the option to destroy the Institute with the Railroad, the Minutemen, or the Brotherhood of Steel, so that is factually inaccurate. If our options are within the lore of the game, then as the General of the Minuteman, you can destroy the Institute. In fact, if you go to destroy the Institute as the General of the Minutemen, you get this great little Minuteman army. Preston comes with you. I think that girl in the castle, what's her name? The Quartermaster? She's cool, by the way. She's really cool. She comes with you. You get some Minuteman soldiers to help you storm the Institute, and you can blow it up, right? It's just factually inaccurate to say that the Brotherhood of Steel is the best chance against the Institute just because they've got a big flying ship. And that's another thing. People will say that, well, the Brotherhood of Steel has better technology. No, they don't. They don't create technology. They're trying to recoup technology that existed before the war. They solely use pre-war technology, right? So they're constantly trying to hoard technology for themselves in hopes that they can obliterate. One of the key components to the Brotherhood of Steel is that they distrust technology. Instead of blaming flawed human beings for the nuclear apocalypse, they blame it on technology, which is just, that's an entirely different issue. You don't blame the technology, you blame the people who use the technology, right? But set that aside, they're not making anything new, they're just recuperating technology. And that's why they had to go and get that lady from the Institute. What's her name? Dr. Lee, was it? They couldn't get Liberty Prime. Ronnie Shaw, thank you. Yes, Ronnie Shaw. I like Ronnie Shaw. She's pretty cool. She's a hard-nosed soldier. Anyway, that Dr. Lee, they had to go and get her from the Institute just so that they could get Liberty Prime up and running again. They're not inventing new technology. The only faction that's actually inventing new technology is the Institute. But that's another story, because the technology they invent doesn't help the Commonwealth in any way. And it's not game-changing, so they can make sense and grow large pumpkins and teleport people. So what? So what? Really? It's not impressive. Arcaday Rex says the Enclave has better technology. That's very true. They do have much better technology. Yuki Fox says, of all of the options, I love how the Railroad quest went the most, probably followed by the Minuteman line. The Brotherhood of Steel line left a bad taste in my mouth. I'm similar. I sided with the Railroad for my first gameplay, but that actually bummed me out. I wish I had sided with the Minutemen for my first gameplay, because I do have a few problems with the Railroad. I think they're a great faction, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to call them evil. Well, maybe I will for marketing reasons. That would make a compelling video. People would click. What? The Railroad is evil? Click. Maybe I'll do that. But I really don't think they're too terribly evil. But the Minutemen ending is the most satisfying to me, because the way that you kill both the factions are just epic, right? And then you have to defend the castle from Minuteman attacks. It's just... I love the Minuteman ending the best. Greg Hartung says, I love how months ago you stated that buying Fallout 4 was a mistake. Now you can't stop talking about it and gaining 20,000 subscribers in the process. Yeah, at the time, that was before... that was before I started making movies about Fallout 4. And I said that it was a mistake because it was consuming too much of my time. I started playing Fallout 4 and I'm getting enthralled by this world. And I'm like, then I came onto the program and I'm like, oh man, I'm spending so much time on Fallout 4. It's detracting from my other abilities. And now I've got like 20,000 more subscribers because of it, so I'm reversing my opinion on that. It was not a waste of time. William Hennessy says, what do you think of the XO2 mod for Fallout 4? Am I about to learn something? What is the XO2 mod for Fallout 4? I am unfamiliar with that. Is that a new upgrade line for the XO2 suit of power armor? Is that something I need to make a video on? Because I didn't know about it. Enlighten me. Tell me. Enclave power armor equals XO2. Okay. Right, but that's not in this game, right? Oh, it's a mod, like Nexus mods. Gotcha. PC mod. Oh. I haven't actually played that mod yet. Okay, you're asking me about a PC mod that allows you to use XO2 Enclave power armor. Gotcha. I haven't played it yet. Sorry. I'm talking so much, this thing keeps going out. Nuka Fishy says the Enclave is believed to help influence the Institute's technology. It's believed that the Enclave is even the reason that the suits of XO1 are in the Commonwealth to begin with. Yeah, I do recall reading that the XO1 suits came from the Enclave, which led to some sort of lore-breaking issues with the new quantum suit of power armor that you can find in Nuka World, because Nuka World collapsed right when the war hit. So basically, for that suit of armor to exist, the Enclave 50 years later would have to invent the XO1 suit of power armor, decide to paint it like the quantum brand of cola, and then find a way to break into Nuka World, open the glass case, put it in there, close the case, and lock it down, and then leave. That's why it's lore breaking. Moose King the Divine says, Oxhorn, you look like the kind of guy that I want to drink a beer with. Thank you very much, but that's the point of this program. Crack open a beer, kick back. We're here to chew the fat. Riot Gaming says, no. XO1 is pre-war. XO2 is post-war. Is that true? Oh. Note to self. Do video on pre-post XO1 2 power armor. Arcade Rex disagrees and says XO1 is post-war. Okay, I'm confused. I'm going to have to do the research on my own because this is something many of my commenters are saying in the comments. I got to clear this issue up. I'll probably do a video on it. Nuka Fishy is shedding some light on the issue and says, the XO1 was developed during the Great War, near the end of it. The Enclave was made, I believe, from the remnants of the U.S. military, which would mean they would have access to it as far as quantum armor. Maybe one of the Enclave members really liked Nuka-Cola Quantum? Maybe. Moose King says the XO1 power armor is a set of power armor created shortly before the bombs fell. It was later taken on by the remnants of the U.S. military. I'm confused. Too much conflicting data. Mr. Lulu says Elder Maxon has a good point, though. The Institute is wasting time and resources creating synthetic humans when they need to save the people of the wasteland. Yeah, that's true, but Maxon isn't doing anything to save the people of the wasteland himself. He's wasting time and resources by running down synths, super mutants, and ghouls in some sort of genocidal racial purity cause. So they're kind of, I mean, he's a bit of a hypocrite to be pointing out the flaws in the Institute, which are legitimate, without addressing the flaws in his own faction. C-Money 2K says, ever thought of drinking cinnamon whiskey? No. Cinnamon and hard liquor should not coexist, in my opinion. I tried that Fireball stuff. Oh, that's rum, isn't it? Man, that's so nasty. I prefer something that has been aged in a charred oaken barrel for 10 plus years. That's what I prefer. Stanolch says double malt. Double malt, malt good, sir. Blended whiskey has its place. Double malt has its as well. Dragon Exile says, puts his finger to his head and goes boom. My brain is just exploding with all of this Fallout info from a game I've never played and or never had interest in, and play Dragon Age Inquisition instead. I am considering expanding my repertoire here on Scotch and Smoke Rings. I do enjoy a good Fallout game. I've been playing Fallout a lot and producing a lot of content. But I experimented with another game. When No Man's Sky came out, I started producing videos on it. That game was just so disappointing. I couldn't see myself really producing more videos. And the videos I did produce on it didn't do very well anyway. I think the one that has the most views right now has got like 2,000 views. It's been out for over 2 weeks now, 2 or 3 weeks. But I am looking for other things. That's a great question. Maybe I should give to you guys. Besides Fallout 4, what games are you playing right now that you love, that you would love to see content on? Maybe just let me know in the chat. And who knows, maybe that will guide my future efforts. Ranger TG says the Minutemen are too disorganized, too untrusted between ranks, and doesn't have the technology to find the Institute. That last point is incorrect, because if you follow the Minutemen questline, you find out that they do have the technology to find the Institute. But I do agree with your first point that they are disorganized. But that's only because they failed. It's not because they have lack of character or lack of will to defend the Commonwealth. It's only because they got destroyed at Quincy. That leaves it open for a new general, like yourself, to rebuild the Minutemen. And that's why I still think that they're a viable alternative to the Brotherhood of Steel, the Railroad, or the Institute in terms of protecting the Commonwealth. They've already got the will. They've demonstrated that by trying to protect the Commonwealth in the past. All they lacked at the time was the ability to win. But now that you're leading the Minutemen, that can all change. Dr. Woof says Factorio/Rimworld. D Hunt says Dragon Age is always a good choice. Dragon Exile says Dragon Age, Inquisition, or SWTOR. Something of the Old Republic. Minesweeper! There you go! Oh man! That's it. I am gonna crank out those Minesweeper videos. Shoot. Nothing is more exciting than clicking on a bunch of numbers and then watching bombs explode. That and Solitaire. I should be the first YouTube gamer from Minesweeper and Solitaire. I'll make millions. The Outcast says, I found a plot hole. Sturgis works on power armor and such. But when you show up, he says he doesn't understand how to use computers. But later in the quest line, he uses computers and radios to find the Institute. The liar. That's true. That's a plot hole. That is indeed true. 0 for 17 says, Rodent's Revenge or Ski Free. Man, the names already are selling me. Skyrim, lots of people saying Skyrim. Civilization 6, that's actually interesting. I have been waiting for Civ 6. Maybe I should take a look at that. And Skyrim Remastered, okay. UFO Hornet says play Unturned. It's kind of like Fallout. Unturned. Michael says, quick, close the curtain. We can see into your personal life. Oh, no. The illusion. I'm breaking the illusion. No, I'm not broadcasting from a garage with boxes in there. No, no. That's all part of your imagination. Dawn of War 3. Mass Effect. Another vote for Civ 6. Dragon XL says, by the way, I'm now the proud new owner of a copy of The Tale of Cloron Hastings, a wonderful novel full of adventure, now found from previous owners on eBay. What? Ouch. That hurts my soul right there. That hurts my soul. That was my novel, by the way, for those who don't know. XCOM and Enemy Unknown. You should make a survey. Yeah, can I do polls here? Maybe I'll do that for a future episode. Outlast 1 or 2? Dragon XL, why did you buy it on eBay? I don't see any of that money. It's okay, though. I'm just glad you're reading it. I'm just glad you're reading it. I hope you enjoy the book. Let me know if you like it. Can I vote for Civ 6 twice? Yes, you can. A lot of Civ 6 going on in here. Okay, that's giving me food for thought. Much to ponder. You could try some of The Last of Us, says CMoney2K. Mr. Lulu says, hey, drink a scotch or a toast to Fallout 4's end. Fallout 4 will never end. Much like Skyrim, it's got a thriving modding community. But I will give you a toast to the end of new content for Fallout 4 in terms of DLCs. Cheers. Dragon XL says, you no longer advertise your novel? I do, which is why I'm reading every single comment that you're leaving about my novel. You can leave as many of those as you want. I don't have it handy. Where is it? Oh, I know where it is. Oh no! The illusion! Ah. The Tale of Cloron Hastings, a swashbuckling sea yarn made by yourself. Available at chloronhastings.com for money. This is the burned one from when my car burned down, which is why it cracks when I try and open it. Yeah. It's still a good book. If I do say so myself. D-Hunt says, what made you decide to write a book? Well, I started writing my book long before YouTube was even a thing. Back in like 1999, 2000 is when I started writing it. And I finished it around 2004, and then I sat on it for 4 years. And I didn't publish it. No, I sat on it for like 8 years. I didn't publish it until 2012. But it was my first effort at being creative, and I had a lot of fun with it. Oxhorn, are you going to make a nasty raider camp settlement on Fallout so that we can see how creative and evil you can be when it comes to the dark side? A lot of people would like to see what you can build. So my Nuka World Red Rocket is taking a lot of Raider and Nuka World inspiration. I've got a lot of Nuka World decorations and a lot of Raider decorations. I may do a Raider settlement in the future, just to make it really gross, with blood and stuff. But that's not on my short-term agenda. Vandymine says, is your novel available in digital format, i.e. the Kindle? It is indeed. You can find it on the Kindle or on the iTunes bookstore. Arcade Rex says, do you drink rum? Do I drink rum? Not just rum, but the best rum. Crackin' good, sir. Populate the Moon says, hey, Oxhorn, I just got back from a family vacation. I made a knife out of a horseshoe. Kudos to you, good sir. Mr. Lulu says, where's all the rum gone? It's right there. I just showed it off. All right, ladies and gents. So the way this works on Scotch and Smoke Rings is at the end of the hour, we transition from YouTube to Twitch, and we start streaming Overwatch. That's right. I tend to play Overwatch for an hour or so after the show ends so that you can join me if you want. You can play with me. You can spectate my game. But that means we're going to be wrapping things up here on YouTube. We tend to end the program with a smoke ship. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, like Gandalf before me. I am imbued with the power to create beautiful works of art with nothing but these lips and the smoke contained within. I tend to make my smoke ships based upon your suggestions, so let me know in the comments below the kind of smoke ship you would like to see. Is it a smoke submarine? A smoke zeppelin? A smoke galleon? Maybe a smoke rowboat? Who knows? Let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll do my very best to accommodate. Sayana Rosa says, my hubby and myself really love your World of Warcraft songs. Thank you so much for the laughs and memories. Well, thank you very much. It's good to see my old World of Warcraft followers here on my stream today. Frank says, voice messages. Ox forgot him again. You're right. I completely forgot. Thanks for reminding me. But that's okay. We can do this. First on the program today is Nuka Fishy. Nuka Fishy, what is on your mind, good sir? Share your thoughts.
Greetings, Oxhorn. It's Nuka Fishy. This is actually the first time leaving you a message and whatnot. I just wanted to let you know that I greatly enjoy Scotch and Smoke Rings. You know, I've only been watching it for a while, but I've been catching up on YouTube in the meantime when I'm not, and mainly just because Thursday marks the end of my school week as far as college goes and everything. It's just a nice way to relax at the end of all that and, you know, enjoy some scotch, enjoy the company of classy gentlemen as well as yourself. So keep on doing what you're doing, Ox, and thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Nuka Fishy. Great to hear your voice and to have you on the program today. Looks like that was the only recorded messages, so let's go on to smoke ship ideas. All right, we've got a smoked cheese, the Pride Win, a smoke trireme, yeah, the Pride Win, a smoked zero-turn mower. Clever, clever. A smoke Yamato with cannons blazing, okay. What's your Twitch? It's Scotch and Smoke Rings. There you go. A smoke ship made from the blood and butts after the sole survivor destroyed the Pride One. Another one of the Pride One. Another one of the Pride One. We have this one from the Bancy Fadger. This is his smoke ship. This entire thing is his smoke ship. Be ready. Oxhorn engages Todd Howard in a galactic duel over the fate of Fallout's delayed mods. The two warriors duke it out atop a massive space station, armed to the teeth in lore-breaking power armor and wielding whiskey-powered cigars and beers? After overhearing a plan by a master of the hippie side of the Force, they realize that they are being duped into conflict with Sony, who insisted on halting the Fallout 4 mods for PlayStation due to entirely arbitrary reasons that not even they could explain. An enraged Oxhorn does an unnecessary backflip and throws his cigar saber. Okay, I get it now. A cigar saber. A saber made from cigars. I got it. Throws his cigar saber at Sony's headquarters from space, incidentally destroying documentation regarding the delay as well as footage of the next Seth Rogen movie. Thereby making North Korea happy, I'm sure. With the world no longer in shambles, Oxhorn and Todd Howard retired to a life of sipping scotch and smoking cigars on the shores of the Caribbean, never interrupted by another hippie or uncooperative console manufacturer ever again. That's great. Nicely done, Bancy Fadger. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do a compromise. The Bancy Fadger's smoke ship was detailed and beautiful, but everyone on YouTube wants to see the Pride one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix the two. I'm going to do Fancy Badger's smoke ship on the Pride one. Here's another one from Dragon Exile. Dragon Exile says, a mighty frigate boarded with Captain Ox staring at a feast of smoked ham, grilled salmon, crispy bacon, and well-drenched A1 sauce turkey. Oh my gosh, you are making me hungry. Laid before him while battle rages on both forces of gnomes and night elf ships. That just made me hungry. I don't understand. All right, here we go. Pay close attention. It is made from smoke, so it won't last long. It'll be like a vapor. It'll fly away. So get that screenshot buddy ready. That screenshot button. Get it ready. Who knows? Maybe this will be worth money someday. Here we go. Did you see it? Oh man, I amaze even myself sometimes. For the briefest of moments before your very eyes was everything Bancy Fadger said on the Pride one. I know. I take applause. That's fine. I amaze even myself sometimes. It's just, I was born with the innate ability. I can't explain it. Cheers. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming to this week's episode of Scotch and Smoke Rings, episode 371. Such a pleasure to have you on the program, but we're not over. We're transitioning to Twitch, where we are going to be streaming some Overwatch. So I encourage you all to come on over and join us there. Flag and Dragon says, slow clap begins. Slow clap. I deserve that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for coming, and we will see you all soon. I'm going to be ending the program now, but head on over to Twitch, and we're going to do some Overwatch. Cheers, and thank you all so very much for coming.